Good afternoon. Once again, yeah, share beam, and I think a number of issues and we were supposed to meet, but due to one or two things in to me and share, so I have decided say discussion and panel we can go through here. And it's about corruption and your fight against your friends say corruption, political corruption. I would be bra yenina ye free say eno ena edi enya e wokroma and babia woti wo hwe nema e koso a say nipa binum de Ghana for edi agro dwumadie na ye de ahye omonsa no am say they are just taking Ghanaians for granted, and ye be hwe your fight against corruption na ya hwe de se ye ene de ye se ye ya yenye na emma political corruption na menon egusu wedi enya, because so he the your friend saying auditor general report wa be sen kwa afi bia makacho say be ye annual ritual ye celebrate wo kroma ye bana se media for pekina ye kasafa ho a that's it, and the subsequently no, you don't see any your friend saying action bia on the part of government say oh ye bibi say betimi the aditaya na say betimi the fear be ya infuse the fear of God in the citizens and people working for government say by ya this your friend say plain TV ni corruption I cause no ye betimi reduce, so amount of money you lose through this form of political plundering, you know, and the end of the year, you know, in the last 5 to 4 years, you know, quantify, I'm sure say it's bigger than the amount of money you seeking from the IMF. And your choice say it me to your near my year, now you me seal the leaking bucket. The state coffers na a leak, you know. Say ye to me a blocking, I am sure say you bet me your mind no esi baby you best start here free the ababaye issue I can about NDC primaries you who say obi take cars wa na osprey free say baby Ghana ya ba bedrui san near you nkura say my ni say so and ya special prosecutor I invite no and also no I bring it to bear a lot of questions as to whether the special prosecutor in this country he's really serious when it comes to the fight against corruption, and I say he's just like Dampare appealing to the cameras but be obeying attention just to grab away, because we've seen in several instances the special prosecutor never do koye interview releasing statement and then as a forum you want the papa bia. And we've seen glaring cases of political corruption. Yes, and or exerting the energy and those things into, but you they are wabe culture and say, oh, yeah, whom be crying, be seen there. You name the aquaquisi. These are some of the issues I be share and there. Now, you beside a lot of questions. Reporter Hodo Abessinia call how far and a special prosecutor deal with the many cases on his table, and as a forum, the AG. There are a whole lot of stuff I think I say. Yeshim and yesa na ye deep politics na chia yenina will end up ye benya twemfo, because I say politics no sway to one side and nipa binum deliberately a plan our mudi nipa adwen di agro. We the citizens, you know, we have a role to play. Me say democracy the very day you be lose your voices, you know, that is the day we lose our your friend saying you lose your liberties and your independence and everything. As long as we have a voice, we can secure our freedom and liberties. So these are some of the issues. So you be kind to waba take time, share. Na will be enya being share, because now I intended to do this in the evening. I think I bit me enya such a discussion, but while winning yenma a football and then you there is a Champions League game Koswa. A bit to me, I draw a lot of people. I'm on my at this particular time, message you know to be here wherever will be and just put it on the platform. In the few minutes, in I share my amount for Emra. Na say you who say amount for Asha share. Then I think say we can roll the discussion, any long discussion be but say the city, and I think say yes, I think say time in your side, you know. Let's go on with our discussion. Madikaya can say me. The very moment I met say you see at the office of the special prosecutor Ebano. Me na me that particular conversation they are man taking it serious. The reason is say political corruption idea back here to the most effective tool that you need to combat your friends saying political corruption. A commitment, political will to confront those guys and individuals. Political will is the ultimate tool a government or any country would need to bring the full force of the state on individuals. You're free say or more are engaging in one form of corruption or the other. So if you set aside that political commitment and you bring on stream millions of state institutions, at the end of the day, those institutions will be a burden on the purse of the country, because you need to push resources to those areas. But at the end of the day, because you don't have the political will, the output will be zero. So on that basis, and I free said the office of the special prosecutor and Sabi Namfas win this. But as the conversation dragged on, Yajetu Manabaye. And when Martin Amidu was brought on board, it gave some of us certain hope and certain confidence, because when Martin Amidu as a person, a tough and a strong guy who stood up against his own party, the NDC, Yenim, or not his infamous banter with the late President Mills, and the way I would take the NDC as a political party on when the party was in power. So Martin Amidu is not obia when it comes to say the conviction in terms of the fight against corruption. Wouldn't be underestimating. So when he was brought on board, a lot of people, it infused certain level of confidence and trust in Ghana for said this time there at least Martin is not somebody you can toy around. So he coming on board, our fight against corruption, you bet me achieve something quite substantial. So obeshe mana enema koso back and forth no. The be ya na yehu se ono ankasa de resignation letter ba bonten na mane obebo ya ne se nipa no appointed no put impediment on his way in his bid obetime ye na adwuma no nipa no fa na adwuma na no aya consider omo interfere trying to use all means yedi manipulate kwan of us or ye na adwuma, and ono ankasa the willingness to deal with issues of corruption in this particular country. Aban no fa kwan money ne kwan papa bia so as up stop no from doing what he was doing. Ebewie ajapa deal na kofa ni nyina de bae, because he felt sad particular deal was shrouded with criminality, fraud, and whole lot which certain elements within government or more family members of the president were impressing on him. Said that particular report on Martin, lo and behold, resign at the Nasem Ebetua Bonting. Ghana for who near man koso. Yan Shadan Tiasem Papa Bia Fidi, your friends of Mampanino as a response. I addressed those damning allegations raised by the special prosecutor, who at some point in time was the president's friend, but he felt Neman Kosun was so nasty to the extent own to mean city aloof for some of these development to go on until Babontin and in some ebetuda. So that particular thing as pursue the charade, the facade that surrounded our so-called quest to fight corruption in this particular country. So a click to prominence. Some of us, they already held the impression to fight political corruption. You don't need many state institutions. I set up special prosecutor. We do this. Bamum, political will is the first tool that is required, because our political will, the Attorney General can be disentangled from the whims and the conveniences of the power that be, and make that person operate independently by ensuring individuals are corrupt activities. It doesn't matter whether they are in government, they are in opposition, wherever they are, no, you will be able to confront them and take them on. But enye no na AC age ni dia ba yese otaraban no to de mo de koso bia no, he's in support of government. But to resource and render it effective, and maybe say decentralize it on regional basis, now you make sure say the AG armed with prosecutorial powers, at all levels, will be able to help us combat political crime. To understand, say even this Auditor General report, how do we do it in such a way, say at the various departments, we have the representative of these particular agencies there monitoring and watching whatever that is going on. Anti-corruption no ma and AG akopotu to paper so will be a DC can sana yakose yakohwehwe na mom AC na or taking drastic measures in ensuring say we prevent the occurrence rather than dealing with it after say AC. But enam say political will no any honti no ya de ano kasa ne the office of the special prosecutor na baaye yet booty martin middle free honor. Besidne, that particular fight has been nothing but a disaster because I don't see any. I've told you that this gentleman there is a poodle of power. Somebody who is tied to the apron strings and the conveniences of the power that be. So the string control him to do whatever that he's doing because Sawohe Ajuma Kisia Japing Eya Ayen mo Juma Noye. And yet corruption be no fight it. Issue no bad Ghana for Buofuno, no Dimirika issue statement. The office of the special prosecutor is inviting this person, this no. You see, in a civilized political environment, who say a statement is issued on a particular case, on a particular development, briefing the public on the current state of that particular thing, then you sign a contract with the public. So going forward, whatever be the development about subsequently, the public must as well be briefed. So if we say public need beginning more mama. But the very moment you brief the public on happenings and development, going forward, they need to be in the know. That is why personally I have issues with Dampare and a kind of way all running the police administration. Say I don't know if you classified. If we say your friend is saying public get to know na a big danger and as for don't even get them involved from the start go. But once the public are in the know, because security has started with the mind. People must be conscious. Your friend say almost security is assured. Because security started from the state of mind. Nipa no feel secured. Our nabi muse the environment now can protect him. Then that is where your friend is saying the security crisis a beginning from. Anti-special prosecutor invitations upon invitations upon invitations upon invitations upon invitations. Besin ne on to me brief obia say sebi me befa adwuma no besin ne me de akokọ ana bebe kra kokot ama yakọ no ese na akọ akoduru na nipa way they are the various way na adwuma na be like he has reduced our fight against corruption into mere jokes and political comedy. Enti asam no ba gigi anything bia aye contentious a public any dia chire bia no be na kisia ja bendi mirikaba wa issue statement ye hu ye abra captain your friend say Major Damwane your friend say GRA issues by be sin ne ba bia that particular issue na do no me nim obi ni ma obetimi abrief ye. And there are several of such cases. And you see, there are pertinent issues, really crucial issues that Ghana for seeking closure to. For instance, this your friend saying gold mafia documentary the government cited to the extent even the president is involved. In South Africa, some of the your friend saying individuals are more occupy high echelons of power, and most of them were mentioned in the video. The South African government are investigating into details of those particular things to ensure say obia wa ban no more and also obia wa South Africa be a oye culpable obia no to certain extent no ya ba hwehwe no na ye ne nadi sa asem na e ba ya ewo international ya friend saying ekura international dimensions is all over on CNN, Al Jazeera, is all over flooded on the various tabloids across the globe. The special prosecutor never showed interest in this particular crucial matter. And there are several of such cases. 18 that's sorry. Now you say NDC press conference elections. I say woman be a coach sika. Na special prosecutor friend na me amete hayi. They are then many years makasa yung crasism. It's highly condemnable, and as people we must not, because I didn't try yen kasa at this time. Yen kasa not because obitan Akufo-Addo. Akufo-Addo nkoji obi mpana, nkoji obi yere. The personal life what ebi waboni ye ne na se for nom. Yen need Akufo-Addo achi because of political corruption abeye so pervasive in his government. That is the only beef we have with him. And the reckless incompetence that he has displayed. And the fact is that Akufo-Addo is dangerously positioning this particular country for a total crash. That is the only beef we have with him. Not his personal life, not his family. Maybe radio so president in the family who has apart from few misguided, twisted guys or push you more into his government who are committing whole form of atrocities against us. I have no issue with him. I have full respect for him as a person. The only issue we have with him is political corruption abeye so pervasive, and there has been many reckless decisions that all taken. So Ghanaians at this particular point, be so much saturated when it comes to issues of corruption and political corruption. So as somebody who is seeking to go to parliament, whatever be the situation, it does not make sense for you to be on your friends and it doesn't matter where you got that particular money from, because your fight is to stop political corruption, and some of these activities in the give way for such things, because when you do that you create impression in the minds of the people. Say arena na okono sabi baby asika buntinu to be gukura. Because going to office might come with certain dignity. You need to hold yourself in high esteem. You should not be engaging in these things. We condemn those things and show political immaturity on her part, and it's highly condemnable. But for special prosecutor to raise that particular issue and say or invite my men for questioning, there are a lot of questions that will come to the minds of the people, because me who say citing issues of corruption, bribery and corruption, and as for another time of election, many so be bribe will be a jina cast on your two sika to go. Any pana I know a bribery. Makasa, that particular act is condemnable, it's political infantile, it shows political immaturity on her part. But to say a constitute bribery, because mudika and video, I don't know how many of them were delegated in as a forum. So special prosecutor, if you want to take that particular issue, that's cool. Maybe to investigate how he got those monies. But if that is the case, we have seen several individuals going around this particular country parading themselves, throwing monies and those. We should begin to question where people in your wealth are free. Because if you are able to do that, trust me, this corruption you quite pervasive. You bet me because you nipa interested in the sources of people's wealth. I mean, yes, sure, and can one. A bit you better krum ha. Abe fraud a man for am I ne? A binum and I'm so in your moo. A branton and dasunam krum ha obian and candidate. And even has the gut to come on social media and be doing whole lot of that. Nipa nam one and nam omutuo omuwu kruma, they are still walking around because we don't question about sources of wealth. Eba baby sika no free baby, we don't care. Yenyina ye to dia chide. And we have some people people look up to them in the society. Musicians, they so-called celebrities in as a forum, and I'm said do na sebi. Yamwinum kwa chirintino. And these people use these guys as conduit to deceive the public to follow them, because number one, the artists that they sign are the very people who serve as a conduit to ultimately draw a lot of people in, because these people have high social status, and they were linked to those individuals. But none of them, and they take in the time say, hey, I'm a musician, let me delve details and do my research in who be a kind of free bar, because that is what reasonable people do. But because these guys don't care, it is about the money. We worship people. All that we care for is the money. You know, none of them and a year due diligence. Whoa, and a charmer, 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 and a corruption, you know, a honest free. And there are such cases and them chroma. Amanfwa omo chese these issues koswa. You expect the special prosecutor I'll be timid attention kakra ko. Na issue no far. On my closure, then you say special prosecutor for a case A B T C C A B C D what the kwakusi issues no afan ba ko kura no tim de kwakusi asa ye de enwe na besi wani na wodon say wo eno akake no ye appealing to the cameras just for the headlines keke. But when it comes to the actual work that guy has to do, you can't find any. Because I will say he's being hired to go after to fight your friends. Nipa no mo Edwa Bano are themselves criminals. So if you are hired by criminals to go after criminals, that would be a tough job. But if you have the balls, you do the right thing or you resign, just like Martiamidu did. Don't just reduce yourself to just your friend is saying, Obi, I don't know, somebody ya tied to the apron strings of power. The only person model ya no model ya as a wouldn't focus. Yes, Abu. Just focus. Na ye wadwuma na office obi si wo kwan because adwuma na wo ye an air time abaye nhwehwe ni mo adwuma abaye radio so adwuma abaye ye friend say we keke era wo de ye makase ma menu sika na okotugu ye na sefo no eye nkurasesem in politics baby ya bedru. And our biggest contention at this particular time no is to fight against political corruption. So when you go out there and display some of these things, it displays the kind of how immature you are. And I will not expect delegate to give powers to such characters to go and your friend is saying Yankoto Abama Nepan because what show clearly say when it comes to politics on your mature. But the special prosecutor has a duty. Because when it comes to some of these things, and you see his office in a kind of also by and the people already have certain lingering impressions. Say, yeah, they all buy, say, go after your political opponent, and then I say for no go and witch hunt, then I say for no. This particular case is one of areas that may interested in because there be a metana about political party delegate corruption and those stuff. No, we need to. But if you really want to confront such issues, just be serious. Let people know. Now, in your way, the na way you went in a way back because we've seen such instances and a crime there is no expiry date. Go into the archives, see now pay videos and then as for you find many. So in such instances, you put those issues together and call these individuals together. Say, I bet distill those impressions. Your job is to go after certain individuals because of their political affinity or affiliation. This is something somebody as learned as he claimed he is, oh yeah, lawyer and as a phone. These are basic common sense. You don't need money to buy. You don't need money to buy. But I say small say koye bibi. Enti adwen wan kasa wadwen ba yisu pa de and the tofia kwa. Yen yisu ya adwen. We will rather allow ourselves to be string controlled. We will rather allow ourselves to be string controlled. That is all that the special prosecutor is doing. You are reducing to a hatchet man. When the guy has a duty, has a responsibility to ensure that this particular country is choking under the weight of political corruption. Is choking under the weight of greedy men who are bent on selling this particular country for their personal and individual gains. So a seminar ye cano enye NDC sem and enye MPP sem is a serious matter. You're confronting because you say office in here independent. Now we are special. I don't know how independent you are. I don't know how special you are. But whatever the situation may be, just try to at least convince some people who had hope, trust that this guy is coming from academia, tough guy. At least he will be able to help us to bring some level of closure to what we are confronted with. But consistently, your output has been zero. And aduma na baye hwehwe ne mo aduma radio so aduma issue ni nya ba ya special prosecutor na grant interview no nam radio so grant interview na issue statement na baye dede one day eno ano no esi a won te hwe biem. What at all are you doing, Mr. Special Prosecutor? Aduma no nya radio so aduma na nya interviews na se for no mo gather your facts. Individuals are all free so more ene o minor ni ye no make sure say ufa issue na ye benya closure, and issues na are critical a bear public interest where we expect the special prosecutor to pay critical attention to. How come you don't find them? Because yatiana Attorney General Abakache and say or for some of the cases na man for a binom person mo bribe no ebinom mo threaten and then I say for him obi attempt to bribe was say nipa. So you are not interested in those things? Yet here in Parliament, yet certain individuals attempted to bribe some parliamentarians. And also no one you're interested. Al Jazeera video na you're not interested? And there are several cases of political corruption. Yahu ewo kroma saying individuals are ya mention or more and issue no ya kan ye nano. For Professor from Pomboatin issue by a gigi as a special prosecutor your friends a report to said the no update who the see because Makasa Asabno Okana or update public no public who said the subsequently no you need to inform them to be in the know so that you be at par, because political corruption no yam fighting no our them and I am fighting no in obitokrum na minim. It should be within the public space for public to know so that it may infuse certain confidence and trust in among for our state institution because an institution you know a crash here. That will be our end. That will be our end. And that is what we need to do as people. But you reduce what you man by any more juma. Na as a yen shada who dear co na a assembly bar obetia gigigigigigida meba. Assembly sia obeti gigigigigi na special prosecutor ba na wa issue statement and I find a way and I find a way ekosi eno ano no da bia nipa awia enti adwuma na wo ye no faso e wo so no sanyi ebirima ya wo toy and I hear you so go after this. Me, when you go after somebody, I always praise God. I may say I have no issue. You are right to go after that person because that particular action, is highly condemnable. But the issue is there are many issues. I beg it. The would go back him crying be seen there. You're no closer to any of them. Apart from media interviews, I will grant it. And aside that, special prosecutor, it is not only your job for corruption. ABC away and sana fight it. Preemptive measures by Guho to ensure say the occurrence of those corrupt things in Ukraine. Those things in Ukraine. And then ye be see a no crime amount for political corruption. Ye be demotivate amount for and go into such things. Those are some of the things that we need to. But you're reducing the whole conversation to politics, akasa, and that is it. Because I offer the Auditor General report. And you see, Adeba Kwa, Metiana Makoma is saying to cry aye. Quite recently, the COVID report I babonting, a COVID-19 report. We know how filthy that corruption, that particular report na aye. Individuals cited, agencies cited, certain individuals are who are indicted in that particular report. Sika yetu yegu ye na kwan ye fa so a. At the time a oman no wa ho ye hia mu no, ye fa nyansa kwan so hye oman ne sika to gu ye. Special prosecutor, are you not interested in that particular report? So far ya, what is the state? Ehe na wakwa akoduru, hwan na wa charge omo. Let us be serious, for Christ's sake. Governance is a serious business. It's not a joke. If you can't do it, just bow out and go. I don't freeze a human away and nipa binum me. I don't buy into this idea. Say na president me no kwan adan o nipa. Babi awadru, you are a lawyer of good standing, a mature person. Or before adwuma na no si ho kwan, you just tell your story and resign. Because as long as you are there, you are being paid by the public, and you have a responsibility. Once you check those responsibilities, am I so irresponsible? And people will not take you serious. And that is the level this guy is consistently reducing the office of the special prosecutor to. Virtual prosecution, radio, Sunni TV, so okay. Issues are serious. You will not see him there because the output where obiti say nipa na ospraise ka ewo congress has no special prosecutor freno not this skating report on the offense of COVID-19 no eda so da ho na besi nne yentimi charge ya bebe kra wo ma report no bae no na attorney general ne even nipa na ye report no kra e ko hontokwa because their friends were mentioned. People within close circles of power no have been mentioned. Kisia Jabin should know, sir, there are people out there who are watching Nema Oye, and you can fool a lot of people with this media who say jamboree in Nema Oye, but there are those who are watching you with critically observing everything be Oye bia, and some of us are convinced that you are only joking around power and you are not serious. You have reduced our fight against corruption, you know, to a joke. But you are being paid by the taxpayer. Among for a repose confidence in as much as our state institutions are on their knees, struggling for to be resuscitated. Because under this current dispensation in development, I cause you how state institutions are coming under your friend saying kwanya aban afa nyansa kwan biswa or breaking down the necks of state institutions one after the other. But somebody armed with prosecutorial powers and prosecutorial authority, your job is to go after political individual who engage in political corruption. Then as a forum, we have had many of such instances. And if you are really serious, and those who hired you are really committed to the fight against corruption, I'm sure, say even when it comes to court system, we can design a separate court that will be handling those issues. Because as long as we are able to handle issues of corruption, and infuse certain confidence into our democracy, in our dealings with external partners, who say you're serious, but and people who are being mentioning are government officials, and then as a foreigner, no country dealing with you out there will take you serious because when they say you are nothing but a joke. Don't be a hatchet man, Mr. Special Prosecutor, because you are only embarrassing yourself on the stage. Because to me, I see you as a funny guy who is serious, and nobody should take you serious. Because office and answer, you are just toying around. When you're to me now, you are just toying around keke. So be soon a toy wo. Only God knows. Because the kind of confrontation Martin do FAC, you know, I drew level who said I did not get it to his neck, you know. He came out publicly and resigned. That is what men with dignity and integrity, that is what you do. don't be your friend is saying running around the issues, appeal to the media. Quite recently, I heard someone say some diplomats should help us in our fight against corruption. Are you really serious? You have all that it takes to help us to nip corruption in the bud. But what by like yes, I agree with you, Alolo. Like a puppet, like a dog. Are you small on the mission when you're supposed to act on your personal convictions? Deal with the issue. Me say issues nobody. It doesn't matter. Crime, any NDC crime, or MPP crime, or way crime. A bar. It doesn't matter. Even people in the past administration,